Guys, what's up? It's me, Carrie, and today is the second in my new series, Stuff I'm Reading. The first two books that I decided to review for you guys are these two books by an author named Sarah Knight. They are parody self-help books. The first one she wrote is this one called The Life-Changing Magic of Not Giving a Fuck. And the little subtitle there is How to Stop Spending Time You Don't Have with People You Don't Like Doing Things You Don't Want to Do. Again, this was the first book in the series, and this was the new release one, the second book, called Get Your Shit Together. It is a no fucks given guide. And this one says how to stop worrying about what you should do so you can finish what you need to do and start doing what you want to do, from the best-selling author of The Life-Changing Magic of Not Giving a Fuck. And let me tell you right off the bat, I have very different opinions about both of these books. And a lot of them are based on my practical life experience. This first book here, I actually found quite amusing, and I actually did get some useful information out of. These are parodies of Marie Kondo's books. Let me see. It's not an officially endorsed book by Marie Kondo, but Marie Kondo wrote a couple of books regarding getting your life together in terms of like decluttering and physically getting rid of stuff and making your home more manageable and your life more manageable by not having so many physical things. And I'm really excited to read those books. I did not see these books as making fun of her book so much as just kind of, you know, going off that initial tangent of physically purging and physically ridding your life of extraneous materials. This is more about like getting rid of the mental clutter. That's at least how I interpreted them. So that's why I thought, okay, they'll be fun to read. And this one was. I learned some interesting lessons in it. She does give you some step-by-step instructions at certain points in a very whimsical, lighthearted, sarcastic, snarky way about how to actually stop giving a fuck about things that you don't need to. I'm not going to like get into like full details of any of the books I review because obviously I don't want to spoil anything for anybody. But there was one particular section that stands out in my mind where she talks about setting policies for certain things. Like, I know I personally am in this situation quite often. I'm sure a lot of you guys are as well, where you find yourself either online. I mean, with Sarah, it was more in-person stuff because she actually worked for a publishing house for a long time, so she had an actual job and was around people. But you know, where you go to work or whatever, or even with your neighbors and your girlfriends or your guy friends or whoever, you know, there's the endless, my kid is selling Girl Scout cookies, my kid is doing, you know, selling gift wrap to raise money for their choir field trip, you know, the baseball team is selling peanuts, whatever, you know, all of the, oh my God, you feel like you're obligated to have to buy all this shit that you don't need and you don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. Well, this is an area we cannot give a fuck, and a really great way of handling it is by saying, I am really sorry, but it is my policy not to purchase things in fundraisers such as this, simply because I can't afford to do it for all of my friends and all of my friends' kids. Therefore, it's my policy to not do it for anybody so that I'm not picking and choosing and playing favorites. And I'm finding that that's happening a lot on Facebook now, where people are doing their at-home businesses, whether they're selling candles or jewelry or LuLaRoe pants or, you know, food or whatever. Like, a lot of people are trying to do those home businesses, and I think that's awesome. And I think, you know, even when you do the ones in person, for whether it's Origami Owl or Avon or Mary Kay or whatever, and you invite these people to your house and you want them to buy shit, because ideally that's the purpose. Yes, you want to socialize, but mostly you want them to buy shit. It's really hard for me because I'm not in a financial position to be able to participate in those things. And I feel, especially with the ones in person, I feel like an asshole showing up at somebody's house, eating their food, drinking their wine, under the pretense of I came to socialize, when you know damn well that they really want you to buy shit and you can't afford to do it. So I simply don't go to those events. And same with Facebook. I tend to get added to these groups, which I'm just putting out there, guys. It's a pet peeve. Please don't add me to any Facebook groups, whether it's to sell stuff or your book club or, you know, people who are obsessed with Silence of the Lambs like myself. Please don't add me to any groups without asking me first. I just personally find it disrespectful, because then I'm put in the awkward position of either looking like an asshole leaving or having to confront you about it, or just being in a group that I really don't have any desire to be in. So anyway, the practical knowledge I got from this is what I'm going to say. And probably a lot of you guys watching, there's some people that'll be relevant to, and I swear to God, I don't mean it to offend anybody, but I'm not in a financial position to buy from everybody's, business ventures. I wish I was. I would love to be able to. I give you all my support from my heart. I'm 100% emotionally behind these projects, but I can't afford to buy stuff from everybody, so therefore I don't buy from anybody. So it is my policy to not participate in such activities. That's great advice. That's a really great way to say it, where you're not playing favorites, and it legitimately is the truth. I am just simply not going to come to your Origami Owl party, or your Avon party, or your, what's the one, Pampered Chef party, or your sex toy party, or your whatever party, because whether you intend it that way or not, whether you honestly, if you honestly tell me, I know damn well you're not going to buy anything, come because I want you to be there for the fun of it, then maybe I would show up. But I know that 99.9% of the time it's about, I want to make money, I want you to buy stuff, and I can't. So that is the biggest lesson I learned from this book, and I actually really enjoyed it. I like her style. I like her freewheeling use of the word fuck, as I like her freewheeling use of the word shit in her second book. But this book I definitely recommend much more highly than the second one. Moving on to the second one. This book, I'm going to be honest, I didn't read the whole thing. I skimmed. And the reason why I skimmed it is because it is about maybe 5% relevant to my life and someone like me who is not working a job, who is not in the office, who is not dealing with, oh my God, how am I going to put away money for my 401k, and how am I going to not dip into my retirement fund? Yeah, as if I have a retirement fund, as if I have a 401k. I haven't worked in 7 years, and even when I did, it was part-time. I've only had one full-time job in my entire life, and that was all the way back in 2002. 2000 to 2002 was the only full-time job I've ever been able to manage in my life. So I don't need to know about office politics. I don't need to know about how do you deal with the stuff that's going on with your annoying, coworker, or how to save and budget your money. I don't have any money to save or budget. So for people who do, for people who are professionals, for people who are out on the job market, you may really love this book. But for someone like me, it legitimately just made me feel so terrible about myself, because I was like, okay, so basically if you're not like Sarah Knight, who again worked for a publishing house for many years and then was able to just say, you know what, screw it. I can financially afford to do this if I make sacrifices. I'm giving up that job. I'm going to be a freelance writer, and I'm going to move my ass from New York to the Dominican Republic with my husband and live on an island. That's awesome, Sarah. I'm so happy for you. But if you're not in that world, and I'm not in that world, I will never be in that world, this book really just made me feel crappy about myself. So, my honest opinion, this book, yes, I recommend it. It's funny. It may have some really good information for you. But if you're anything like me, this one I wouldn't necessarily read. If, like I said, you're like Sarah, you're a successful person who's got a great career and a great life, and you got your shit together, no pun intended, then yeah, you might actually enjoy this book. But Get Your Shit Together is really designed mostly for people who have their shit like 99% together and just need help with that one last percent. So those are my honest thoughts. And as a writer myself who still, not yet living the dream, has, short stories and poetry and memoir stuff on blogs that's never been posted anywhere other than blogs and student publications, and still dreams of being a writer that gets published for pay, that this isn't my world. And in my world, there's not a whole lot in the Get Your Shit Together book that really is of use to me. However, the no fucks given, yeah, that did help a bit, specifically in the way that I mentioned to you. So, but as I started to say, as someone who writes myself, I don't like to thumbs down anything. I don't want to be critical of other writers, because I admire her so much for having the balls to do what she did. And obviously she's sitting pretty in the Dominican Republic with her husband, probably knocking back a few Mai Tais or pina coladas or wherever, and collecting her residuals and living an awesome, happy, fulfilled life, because her shit's together and she's not giving a fuck, and she certainly wouldn't give a fuck about my opinion. But I've got to be honest with you guys. I'm not going to recommend something that I don't truly love. So it is what it is. It's a 50-50 split. The first book, I say, might be worth a read. The second book, again, unless you fit that very specific criteria of being a Sarah Knight type person and having that sort of lifestyle, you may end up coming out of it the same way I did, feeling like, wow, I am really even more of a complete and utter failure than I thought before opening these pages. So I want to get this book back to the library and never look at it again. But again, is what it is. Take it for what it's worth. I hope this will be a fun feature for you guys. I'm super, super, super excited. I have something top secret that I'm not ready to share with you guys yet. But a friend of mine, and I use the term friend loosely simply because as of now, I don't think she would consider me a friend. We don't know each other on a personal level. We're very cordial with each other. We're Twitter pals. We have communicated a little bit. She's someone I really admire. She wrote a book already that I really enjoyed, and her second book that's going to be coming out later this year, I'm even more stoked about because it's even more relevant to me. We're kindred spirits in a lot of ways. I'm not going to name drop, but I'm hoping, we've discussed this a little bit, and she said she's going to do her very best to make sure that she hooks me up with at least an electronic copy of her upcoming book before it's out on the stands so that I can, you know, do a review of it for you guys. I'm so excited about it. I took a really big risk by reaching out and asking her if that would be a possibility because I've never done that before in terms of an author. And I was so concerned that I was overstepping boundaries because, again, we don't know each other all that well. We've been, you know, Twitter pals for a few years, but it's not like, you know, we've met in person or, you know, Skype and do coffee dates. Although that would be really fun because we're both like completely introverted. And I think that if maybe we could get our braveness up to Skype together and drink coffee, we would probably have a lot more in common even than we think we do. Because I know of a few biggies already, but I digress. Her book is going to be coming up pretty soon. She said to reach out to her in about a month. So it's going to be a little ways away, but I'm so excited about this. You have no idea, you guys. And I'm so grateful to her for giving me the opportunity to review her book. I'm so stoked about it. But anyway, but I'll be reading stuff in between now and then. So again, if you like this feature, if you like this idea, definitely give this video a thumbs up if you feel you want to. And leave comments, as always. I always appreciate your guys' feedback. I know that was really bad grammar, your guys's, but I always appreciate getting feedback from you guys on things that you like and things that you don't. If you can express yourself in a cordial, non-destructive way, then, you know, please tell me, not so much into this idea, Carrie. I like other stuff you do better. But yeah, because as always, negativity and nastiness will be deleted and blocked, so don't even bother. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I am going to shut up now. Thank you so much for watching, and have an awesome rest of your day. Bye, guys.